Yeah, she looks pretty graphic actually. 6 Lanthanotus here I need to pay attention to. You wanna bite me? Go ahead. This water should not be here. So either there is a leak somewhere in the divider, or due to me raising the water level before I was gone, the tree fern panel sucked up the water and the water looked for a place where the level wasn't straight. I don't know how it's called in English, I'm very sorry. So I gotta fix this because this is not a good place for the Lanthanotus to lay their eggs. Hopefully there are no eggs in there. Honestly, when I saw it, I did not look straight away, because if there were eggs, they were gone, because it has been like this for a few days while I was on my trip to Switzerland. So now I'm back and it is time to fix the problem, which creates a great opportunity to actually check the Lanthanotus that are in here, because I know you guys love them, but I never show them because they live so secretively in these, I have to say, pretty cool looking setups. This might be interesting. So underneath the cork is one of the Lanthanotus. That's quite interesting actually. So it's in the water but nice in the almost mud. That does make me wonder. I've talked about this with one other keeper and he says that some people actually have 3 areas for the Lanthanotus to go into. The water, the land, which I have over here, and like this muddy area. So that might be interesting, and I'm thinking about upgrading their setup, so maybe we should do something with this behavior. But for now I gotta take it out and get rid of all of this, because again, this is not a place for the animals to lay their eggs. So well camouflaged. Cool, huh? Yeah, she looks pretty graphic actually. I'm sorry I have to handle you. Here's some hides for you. I really hope I don't find eggs in the land area, so let's dig. Plants are just so nicely grown in, but that will recover. There you are. How is this possible? Don't bite me, please. Yeah. It's in there. Okay, I was so worried. Incredible. Got it. Man, I was afraid this was gonna be a I messed up video, but it's in there. I was able to hide so well. This one is a bit smaller. Don't know if you can see it. Such beautiful creatures. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, so the land area is empty. Again, 2 options. Either there's a leakage in the divider, or the tree fern panel made contact with water and it sucked up water and put it this way. That's where water goes. Water goes for the least resistance. I don't know how to call that in English, but it has an explanation. I will look up the word. High production value video this. Anyway, I love how the background looks with all the moss. I will do a plant list a little bit later in this video. So what I will do now is clean up the mess, tend to all my turtles, fix some lights, and after that I will see what the water in here has done, make sure it has dried, fix everything, and I will be back to you tomorrow with an update. Luckily, after a few hours there were no signs of a leakage along the divider, so the tree fern panel was to blame. And this was an easy fix. I shortened the tree fern panel so it did not make contact with the water. I made sure it was not reaching over the divider into the substrate of the land area, and I also made a separation between the tree fern panel above the land area and the one above the water area. Once this was fixed, it was time to take out the water and do a big water change. Normally I only do small water changes when needed, and my filtration consists of a simple sponge filter. So you can see the amount of organic material has been accumulating, caused by the animals walking from the land area into the water and all the natural materials in the water. Although natural, this is not the best look, and it gets kicked up as soon as the Lanthanotus get active, which looks cool and does not hurt the animals, but it does make it a whole lot harder to film these already secretive animals. I have seen some recent in situ pictures where animals were found more in and along streams with a bit cleaner water. So over time I hope to correct the buildup of all the organics and try and recreate a Bornean stream a bit more, but I like to do this in stages. Lanthanotus like to spend their time in heights where there's not too much light, pretty much no light actually, and the animals are able to have their body in the water while have their head stick out above the water level to get some fresh air, and they can stay in this position for hours. For that reason I use a lot of cork tubes, because this way they can hide away from the light and also feel safe while their body is in the water and their head sticking out. To redecorate I had to cut a lot of the plants, but this way the plants along the walls will get a bit more light and the ferns will grow back rapidly, filling out the space. After adding some stones to finish the look, I used the cocoa peat, sand and bark mix for the land area, and I refilled the water section with 50% RO water and 50% tap water brought up to the right temperature of 25 degrees. Now it is time to wait a day and have everything settle, and then we can put back in the Lanthanotus. So it is time to put back the two Lanthanotus that were in the setup. But before I do so, I wanted to show you some others that will be living in the third setup I made for the Lanthanotus, and talk a little bit about sexing Lanthanotus, because that's a question that is often asked online in groups. People post pictures of their animals asking their sex, and there's not always a clear consensus on the answer. Now there are some ways you should be able to tell the sex apart, but it's certainly not easy. So let's start with these two first. These two are unrelated to each other, and this here is a proven egg-laying female. She has laid eggs for me twice. I have separated her from my biggest pair that's living in here, because I felt like the females were a bit competing over nesting space, causing this one to lay her eggs in the water last year. So my first year has still been my most successful. Last year I got a lot of eggs, but in the water. Now this one, as you can see, is a bit smaller, and this one has always been with this one, thinking it was a pair. But as you can see, there is a clear size difference, and this individual was on the land a lot, and I felt like it was stressed out because of this one over here. Now I was right, because as soon as I separated this individual, please stay in, thank you, this one started to get in the water and has grown a lot since. This one has been a whole lot smaller just like 4 to 6 months ago. So it really did it well. And now it is kept with this female and all is okay. So I thought maybe this is a male, this is a male, and they are competing. But I found that also females can be territorial, and this is confirmed by some other keepers. Yes, in the wild they are found 1 male per 2 females on the same square surface, so the population density of females is higher, but we are talking about limited space. That's why also in this setup I have created 2 land areas, as I'm gonna combine some individuals that might not know each other, and I want to make sure they can get away from each other. So this female, which is a confirmed female, has a relatively long and slender body, pretty uniform, and the tail base is, as you can see, not super wide, but still there is some shape to it. And yeah, some people say look at their tail base, but the problem is if you have a very fat female, that tail base can be a whole lot thicker. And if we look at this one, it is more distinct, but as soon as we compare to the female, there's some difference, but not clear. I have not seen any mating behavior with these, by the way. If you look at the head, the eyes of the female are often a little bit more to the side of the head. Males should also have a broader lower jaw, which I can't show you now, but I will make some B-roll. And the neck of the males should be a bit shorter and thicker. Now if I say all these things, this here is probably a female. Look at that long neck. It's even longer than this one. But this one laid eggs. And if we look at that tail, yeah, it's a bit broader. But yeah, and it's relatively long and slender. So that's a female. So my idea of having two males with each other is not totally correct. So now let's take a look at this animal. And let me know what you think this is. Now if you look at the top of the head, the eyes are positioned a little bit more, almost flatter and more shallow. As you can see, it's a bit wider. Also the head is a bit shorter and rounder. If we look at the base of the tail, as far as you can see with the reflection, that one is obviously, yes, separated, a bit more distinct. And the body, I would say, is a little bit stockier. But this one I've tried also with my proven female, and it will absolutely mangle it. It is so territorial. Also when I'm taking it out of the setup, it just started biting everything randomly. Now we're gonna look at this individual. This individual has a clear, short and broad head, and the eyes are positioned a bit on top. Very thick neck, bit shorty body composition, and a very thick tail. So this is hopefully a male. As you can see, telling the difference in sex is not as easy. And if I look at these two, I would say this is probably a female. Looking at the shape of the head, a bit more triangular, long neck, elongated but slender body, and the tail. But again, it's all so subtle and not really. There are people who can say it for certain, and I'm sure there's people reacting to this, say no, that's a male, that's a female, but to me it's still not very obvious. And I have 6 almost full grown, that's a full grown egg laying female over there. These could be laying eggs too if they were female. Individual in the, yeah, I have 6 individuals here to check. I have 2 more which are proven, and still it is not as clear to me, in all honesty. This to me is a male, and it has been with these 2, but they were also always laying separate. And you can see it's also bigger than these 2, so maybe this is the same case as this one. Could also be all females. Could be that these are all females, these are all females. That's just an annoying female. These look like 2 females to me. That's here. This female has quite a broad neck, but she's egg laying. And yeah, this also looks like a female then to me. So maybe I have all females here and I have only 1 breeding male. Who knows? So what I will do is put these 2 females in, and Lanthanotus don't like to be handled, so if you move them, it's best to hold them like this. Just place them on your hand and let them go. I will grab this one too. These are very tactile animals. They are very sensitive along their neck, especially to the sides. You will also see this when they are hunting. So please go back. So when you handle them, it's best you just pull them by their tails. They have very strong tails, and place them on, that's an angry Manoria, and place them on your hand and just let them go like this. So cool to see them move through the water. There they go. So what I've decided to do is actually place the unrelated absolute maniac of an animal with these under close observation, because I think this is a male and this is at least a female, maybe even 2 females. So to confirm that, I'm just gonna take a close look at their behavior. I'm pretty sure that's a male too. And yeah, I'm just gonna put him with them, and I'll show you with this one. This one will absolutely, as soon as you manhandle them, they will try to bite. And I think, you know, I don't know if anybody has seen the bite of a Lanthanotus, but it sucks. Wanna bite me? Go ahead. Very sharp teeth, and they twist, as you can see. Thank you. Pretty rough, huh? So, uh-oh. As you can see, pretty sharp teeth. They do some damage because they twist. It is said that they are venomous. I'm not quite sure about that, but maybe there's also anticoagulation in the how do we say this? Saliva. So, time to take a close eye on the animals. I'm very curious how they will react. I hope I actually will see some breeding behavior, because the one I just put in with here, the supposed male, has been separated for a long time, and it is breeding season. So I hope his hormones will take the best of him and do what I hope he does. So we are a few hours later. I'm very excited to mention that there is no real excitement. The animals are still exploring the setup, but I've not seen any fighting, and that I'm happy with that, honestly, because I was a little bit worried about that one individual. So for now, no real issues. I hope it stays that way. Of course, I will take a good look on it for the next hours and days, see if I see any signs of stress or fighting. But I feel like if it were males, there probably would already have been some issues, but we'll see over the next few days. Now, when it comes to the other setups, I'm really happy how this one looks, but I do want to take out some of the organics of this, and of course also of this one. Everything still needs to settle a bit after all the activity in the water, but that's okay. As far as the bite goes, this is how it looks a few hours later. As you can maybe see, is that they just have really ripped the skin, and of course that roll also creates some damage. Now I have checked just to be sure about the venom, and what I have found is that there is indeed a mandibular gland, so a gland in the lower mandible, similar to, for instance, Haloderma and some other monitors, and there is some elements there, but it's not really confirmed that they are venomous, and if it is very weak. And this also is confirmed by other keepers who have been bit by this species. You can see they have sharp teeth, they will rip open your skin, and of course they also twist for some extra damage. It takes a while to heal, but no real issues after that. I feel totally fine. The hand is just a bit bruised, but that's about it. So, another thing you have learned from this video. I will do an update to share with you how these are doing, if there are any changes or not. Maybe I will add the other individual if this keeps going well, just to see their behavior over the next period. I hope for some eggs, at least of this pair. And of course I will share that with you and try not to forget it like I did last year with the young. I have a different idea on how I'm gonna take care of the young this year, so I will share that too. And for the rest, I just hope these will keep doing well. And I think that's about it. I have a lot more to do. The Manoria are getting restless. Time to feed those and change their lighting setup. So I hope to see you on the next one, and I hope you enjoyed this bit of a vloggish style video.